this particular video is all about pond pump size. At the end of this video, you will find all of the answers to choosing the right pond pump for your application. There is chapters involved, so you can skip or rewind to the different chapters. If you look at the timeline on YouTube, you can skip. It's actually sectioned up. We're going to go through head loss. We're going to go through friction loss. We're going to go through, is a pond pump too big for a pond? Stay tuned for the Any Pond Showcase. What I've got behind me, it may look like a monstrosity. It's an experiment. It's basically for your viewing pleasure. What I've got is I've got 3 pond pumps. They're all EcoWave 2000s, and they've all got 5 meters of 38mm pipe. So they've got the same amount of pipe, we've got the same amount of pump. The only difference between these particular 3 outlets is the height. Let's get cracking and let's work out what size waterfall pump, pond pump, fountain pump you need. That's better. Now I can hear myself think. The first thing you need to think about is when you're sizing a pond pump, what do you want the pond pump to do? Is it filtering the size of the pond that you've got? If you're filtering the size of the pond, the first thing you need to figure out is how big or how much water you've got in your pond, so you can work out how much filtration you need. So how much water is going to be sent to the filtration system. Could be that your filtration box is raised up and it's a pump fed filter, so you're actually pumping water up into a filtration box. You need to work out the height of that above the water of the pond. When the pond goes down, you are going to get a fluctuation. It is not going to rise, but the water goes down, so your head pressure is going to be affected in that way. When I'm talking about the size of the waterfall, it's how much of an area do you want the waterfall to spread across. So it's the width of the waterfall. What we've got on here is we've got 3 outlets that are all 30 centimeters wide or 12 inches wide. So this particular setup, we're determining 30 centimeters. That's what I want to create a lovely nice sheet of water. The next thing to think about is how much pipe work. How far do you need to pump the water? So what we've got on each one of these waterfalls is 5 meters of plumbing. So 5 meters of plumbing is just around about 16 foot. What you want to add for that amount of plumbing is you want to add a foot for every 10 feet of pipe. Got 16 feet. So you want to add about, I would say, just under 2 foot of head pressure. That would allow for 20 feet or 6 meters. So we'll just round the 5 meters up. I've got this set up behind me because it's very easy for you to visually see that the highest one reduces the amount of water that's coming out the pond pump. It's exactly the same. 3 pond pumps, 3 lots of 5 meters, different elevations. So we've worked out the size of the pond, we've worked out the size of the waterfall, as in the width of the waterfall, and also we've worked out the run of the pipe length, because when you're pumping water a long way, you need to take that into consideration because there's friction loss, there's head pressure. What we need to do when we're looking at pond pumps is working out how much water they're going to have at a specific head height. I'm just going to go and measure it. How far is the height of the waterfall away from the actual water itself? So I would say that that's approximately about a foot. So this one here has got a foot of head pressure. This one here is slightly higher, as you can see from the video. So it's about 75 centimeters. This one here is about 6 foot. So it's about 180 centimeters. We sell it in 5 meter length, so it was very easy to grab 3 lots of 5 meters off the shelf. So we are actually allowing, in this scenario, 50 centimeters of head pressure. So what we've got is we've got 50 centimeters of head pressure from the piping. We've got 30 centimeters of head pressure from the actual height of the waterfall. So it's 80 centimeters. This one here is 180 for the height plus 50, so it's actually 230 centimeters for the highest one. And this one here is 75 centimeters plus 50, so we're talking about 125. The eco waves aren't designed for pumping water up at great lengths. They're energy efficient. These particular pumps behind me only use 65 watts of power. This particular pump is designed more for efficiency because the impeller is actually closer, so it's actually working a lot easier. So it's like comparing a cart horse or a shire horse to a pony. The pony can pull the cart, no problem at all if it's got wheels on it, and it can pull the cart on a flat level surface. But a shire horse could probably pull it without wheels. If it was on a sled, it would still be able to pull the cart, and probably it would be able to pull the cart uphill. So the pony and the cart horse would still be able to pull the cart, produce the same amount of water. So if you think about the power, it can still pump the same amount of power, but once you start putting friction in place, you may need a bigger pump, or for pulling your cart, a bigger horse. Pond pumps are measured in gallons or litres. In the UK we use the metric system, and there's a difference between the US gallon and the UK gallon. What you need to look at is the flow chart for the pump. So on the back of the box you can see there's a flow chart, flow rated in US gallons and litres. So at a 0 head height you're producing 7,647 litres or 2,000 US gallons. At a 5 foot head height, 1.5 meters, you're at 3,255 litres or 860 US gallons. And as you can see, when we go up to 3 meters or 10 foot, it drops significantly. You look at the flow chart and you go, this pond pump can do 7,500 litres, no problem at all. And then you look at a different pond pump that will do the same amount or more, but it will cost you more money to run on electricity. So let's switch these pumps back on and I'll show you the difference between the flow rates. You're going to have to bear with me, we've got the noise to compete with again. So you can see the top one is struggling. There's a little bit of air coming through. They will equalize themselves out, but the one at a foot height or 30 centimeters is doing a lot more volume of water. As we read on the box, there's a lot more at a 0 head height. So at a 0 head height, it would be producing 7,600 litres an hour. Once you come up to about a foot, plus you add the friction loss from the pipe work, it's running at just over, probably I would say 6,000 litres an hour. What you need for 30 centimetres of waterfall width is you need 4,000 litres an hour for every foot or every 30 centimetres to give that clean sheet. So if you look at the top one now, it's not giving you a whole clean sheet because we're asking a lot of the pump to produce 4,000 litres at that height. If you remember looking at the flow chart, this particular pump doesn't pump 4,000 litres at a 6 foot head height. Here, it's giving us a nice clean sheet every now and again because it's right on that borderline of 4,000 litres an hour. Where if you look at the spillway box on the right hand side, it's given us definitely that clean sheet. It's not got a centimetre of water, just a little bit less than a centimetre of water. So if you want a centimetre of water, 30 centimetres wide, it's approximately 4,000 litres an hour. As you can see now, it's coming up to a nice clean sheet and it narrows right down. And that is the pond pump that is making a lot more noise and I'm having to talk over it, but it's irregular. You're not getting that 4,000 litres an hour at that head height. The one on the right hand side is giving you 4,000 litres an hour because it's about 1 metre 25 with the friction loss and everything else, and that pond pump can produce that sort of like amount of water. If I was choosing a pond pump for this scenario, it would definitely be the EcoWave 2000 for this application. If I was choosing for this particular side, the left-hand side, yes, I would definitely choose the EcoWave 2000. I probably wouldn't choose the EcoWave 2000 for this height of head pressure. What I would use in that scenario is I would use the solid handling pump, which is a lot more power. It's like the cart horse or the Shire horse. It's able to pull the sled up the hill without wheels, and it does a lot more job. Yes, it's going to cost you more money to run, just like a Shire horse eats more food. It needs a bigger stable. It's a different horse. So horsepower in this scenario is different between different horses. So there's a difference between different pond pumps. So a question that I get asked all the time is, can a pond pump be too big? And there's 4 key areas that you need to think about when thinking about a pond pump and if it's too big or not. One is energy and whether it's not efficient enough. 2 is water loss. Is there too much water there? If there's more water going down, there's an increased amount of water loss. One thing I've done is I've turned this pond pump off, or these pond pumps off, because of noise. So it may be that you've got too much noise and that might be not possible, so you can't hear yourself think. So let's say that I wanted to entertain people here, like I'm entertaining you. We're having a conversation. I need to turn the waterfalls off. Energy efficiency, we've got water loss, we've got noise, and there's also suitability. So it might not be suitable for having a big pond pump in your pond because you've got small inhabitants. Let's say that you've got small fish. Let's say that you've got tadpoles. If you've got a too big a pond pump sucking all of that water through, they are going to filter out those items. When you've got a solid handling pump, they're going to filter out those items. So can a pond pump be too big? 100% yes, it can be. What you can do is you can alter the different things to combat those different elements, but there's 4 reasons why a pond pump can be too big. So the first thing to think about when choosing a pond pump is determining what type of pond pump that you need. We've got a video of which pond pump. It goes through all of the different types of pond pump that there are. Filtration pumps, fountain pumps, circulation pumps, solid handling pumps. There's a whole bunch of different ones. Check out the description below and you'll see which pond pump. My name is Mark, the Pond Advisor, and I'm here to support you dream, plan and enjoy ponds and water features. And until next time, I'll see you in another video.